Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me today here on the King of Random. Today's the big one. We're finally going to be firing off our flamethrower. We have two videos showing you how we built this flamethrower using a tank, some CO2, a pressure washer handle, and a propane torch to turn it into a flamethrower. Today we're going to fuel it up and fire it off. For anyone who missed the build videos, we'll review really quickly how this works. The CO2 canister attaches to this nozzle here, and when we open both valves, our tank can fill with pressure. This tank will be holding our fuel mixture of 80% gasoline and 20% diesel. The pressure from the CO2 will drive the fuel out the bottom of the tank, through the hose, and into our power washer handle. Pulling the trigger on the handle lets the pressurized fuel fly through the power washer out the nozzle we've added, and then we'll ignite it using this propane torch. We have several of these CO2 canisters, which are usually used for powering paintball guns, but they will work great for this as well. We're using carbon dioxide instead of compressed air because it's extremely non-flammable. It actually puts out flames. This is just a safety precaution in case the flames try to travel up the fuel and into our nozzle. There will be CO2 spraying out with the fuel, putting out any flames that get too close to the nozzle. The red cans have gasoline, the yellow can has diesel, and we're going to make a mixture of 80% gas, 20% diesel, and that's going to be our fuel for the flamethrower. As an added safety measure, we have a large CO2 fire extinguisher, and I'm wearing a genuine fireman's coat just to protect myself from the heat. As you can see, I'm mostly surrounded by dead and dry plants, and I don't want to accidentally light stuff on fire. So we've got a concrete bunker that we're going to shoot into, and that should safely contain our fire. Let's fill up our tank, charge it with CO2, and give it a test shot. Since I can't actually see inside the tank, I'm really just kind of estimating how much gasoline and how much diesel to put in. Right. Our tank is fueled up. Now let's add our CO2. Opening this valve. Oh, made a little popping noise. Heard a little pressure change. Now we've pressured from the tank to the valve. When we open this valve, it will add pressure to the main tank. It's a funky noise. All right, and with that, our flamethrower should be ready to go. Let's strap it on and try it out. Oh, this thing weighs 1,000,000 pounds. Quick observation, our gun appears to be leaking. We have test fired with this nozzle before with just water, and it didn't do that, so I'm a little concerned about why it is doing it now. I don't know, it's leaking. It's pressurized and it's leaking, so that's not great. But I'm still gonna try it. For you. For my first shot, I'm not going to add the flame from my propane. I'm going to shoot the fuel out of the nozzle, but not ignite it, just to see how it travels. Here goes. Huh. Well, it's certainly spraying. I did think it was gonna travel in more of an arc, kind of like a squirt gun, but this just kind of vaporizes in the air. I wonder if it's just because there's so much pressure. I don't see why that should stop us from lighting it on fire. Let's see how it goes. All right, test shot with fire. 3, 2, 1. Holy cow! That's a giant fireball, that's amazing. Oh man, oh holy cow, that is fantastic. It still isn't squirting the way I thought it would. When you think of a flamethrower, I think most people imagine a squirt of flame flying through the air and landing on the ground, maybe soaking everything around it in fire. This isn't doing that. It's also doing this. I don't know what is causing this to happen. I think something in our valve is not working very well, kind of pulsing out. That's definitely not ideal. I'll keep an eye on that, and in the meantime, I'm gonna shoot the flamethrower more. All right, let's try this again. 3, 2, 1. That's amazing. My shoes have gasoline on them now. I don't like that. It doesn't make me feel safe, and it might be bad for them. Well, let's just keep using it until I'm all out of fuel. Then it won't trip anymore. Oh, guess I'm out of fuel and I still have some CO2. Any fires I need to put out? Holy cow, this tank is freezing cold. Look at that. So when the gas inside the tank expands to fill the larger tank,
it cools off a lot. It cooled off fast enough that the outside is just covered in frozen water vapor.
The pressure washer handle that we had attached to our other gun began to malfunction. It would turn on when I squeezed the handle, but it wouldn't turn off when I let go, so it would just keep spraying all of the fuel and CO2 in the tank. I didn't want to be using a flamethrower that I didn't have the ability to turn off. We actually had the same malfunctioning issue with 2 separate units of that particular spray handle, so we do not recommend that you use it for this build or any other. So we finished filming for the day, and I went and got a new replacement handle at Home Depot. This one works well with all of our connections. It actually even has a quick connect built into the back of it, and the nozzle seems to be working out just fine as well. I've tested this out with water, and it's spraying beautifully. You can see I've moved the propane tank to the side of the handle. That's because this one has more of an oblong shape, and the propane doesn't like to stay strapped onto the bottom of it. The function is exactly the same. It has a flame which ignites the fuel. It's just slightly off to the side instead of directly underneath it. Our tank is ready. It's fueled up. It's got CO2 giving it pressure. Let's test it out. That was sweet. I think it went actually farther than before. That is so warm. Like, I can feel that on my face immediately. I actually upgraded gloves to something a little more rigid because before my hands would start getting hot just from the flame being squirted out. That's amazing. The fireman's coat is doing an amazing job though. I don't feel a thing anywhere I've got the coat. Now, because I think it's gonna be a cool shot, I'm just gonna shoot it inside the concrete bunker entirely. Got it. So far, every time that I've used this, I've opened the CO2 tank and the valve into the main tank, and I've just let it pressurize it until I run out of fuel. I'm gonna try something a little bit differently this time. I'm gonna open the valve to the main tank, and then once the pressure has balanced, I'm going to close it again. I'm hoping that what happens is I get more of a stream of the fuel and less of a fine mist. I've tested this exact setup with water, and it always comes out in a nice spray. It shoots about 40-50 feet, water is hitting the ground, and I was kind of hoping that would happen with the fuel as well. We'll see if changing the pressure makes any difference on that point. Let's test this out with a different amount of pressure from the CO2 tank. That is a lot more what I was expecting from the beginning. I am afraid that the pressure is just going to keep dropping as I'm shooting, and the flame will get closer and closer. So once I don't feel like it's safe anymore, I'm going to turn it off. I also might light the ground on fire now. 3, 2, 1. That's definitely different. Yeah, the ground's on fire. We need to put that out. Everything's on fire. That's interesting. I would have thought that the pressure would have kept going down and we would have had less and less stream. But as I've been using it, it's just switched from squirting out to spraying out in a mist like it was when I had full pressure. And there it goes. Let's try it again. That's what you want to see right there. That's fire. Ha! Woo! That is one smoky dome. That whole giant dome is basically full of smoke at this point. There we go, 3 full tankfuls of fuel on 1 tank of carbon dioxide. It's possible we could have even gotten a 4th, but I did leave the small tank open this time just to see how it affected things. I do think that the lower pressure helps use the fuel more efficiently. It seems like I get a lot more burn time when I open the tank and then close it off again. For our next test, we're gonna actually light something on fire with our flamethrower. So I've stacked up a bunch of hay bales and we're gonna burn them. 3, 2, 1. Ah, yeah. Those are burning pretty good, and they're filling the bunker with smoke way faster than the flamethrower did. Oh, and it collapses. I'm gonna take credit for that. I made it collapse. That was all me. We've tested out our flamethrower and it worked great. We've lit some stuff on fire and that was way fun. So the last thing I want to try, roasting a marshmallow. Actually, I'm gonna do 3 marshmallows all at once. And this is a big flame, so we've got big marshmallows. I do have a feeling that these marshmallows will end up a little well done. Fire in the hole! Just the way I like them. Oh no, it's starting to sag. It's gonna drip. Ah! There you have it, a home-built flamethrower in all of its amazing glory. We had a few different types of shots. We had the fuel aerosolized, which made sort of a line of fireball. Sometimes when we had it at lower pressure, it squirted in a nice stream that was all on fire. I really liked that one because it just sort of lit everything on fire that it touched. It looked really cool. We used it to light some hay bales on fire and those went up in a flash. And we also tried using it for cooking, which didn't turn out so perfect. I hope you've really enjoyed watching this flamethrower get used. It was a ton of fun for me. Of course, if you go ahead and build one of these yourselves, please take every possible safety precaution. Fortunately, I was able to get an actual fire coat, which did an amazing job. No matter how hot the flame was on my hands or my face, I didn't feel a thing through the coat. Always be aware of your surroundings. Don't use a flamethrower somewhere where you can light everything on fire. We had a couple of times where we lit a little bit of the grass on fire, but we were carefully watching and we were able to put it out quickly before it spread anywhere. Also be careful with your equipment. Our first spray handle malfunctioned and we weren't able to keep using it. I got another handle that worked much better, even it had some problems where it would drip out of the end. There were a couple times the end of the gun actually lit on fire. So just be very aware of everything that's happening with your equipment. Have someone standing by that has wet towels and a fire extinguisher to put anything out just in case there's a problem. There you have it. I know a lot of you were very excited about this video and so was I. This was so much fun to do and I think it looked amazing. Thank you for joining us for this project today and we look forward to the next one. Talk to you then. Well, don't show that. Make it seem like I ate it. That's a lot of marshmallow. Oh, there's some fuel left in it. That right there is a little more well done than I like my marshmallows. Turns out a flamethrower might not be the best tool for cooking.
Hey guys, Grant here. Just want to pop in with a quick update that the King of Random brand is expanding. Nate's here because you wanted more DIY, more variety, more frequent videos, and together, we're all making that happen. Thanks for your support.